Hello. Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. Oh, I just had to make sure that my mic was working that time. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unintentional Juror podcast. And yeah, like we do, we catch up every week to discuss the ongoing legal cases. But for today, we are going to be discussing the Laura Owens saga, and we've done two profiles of two deep dives into both Mike, sorry, not Mike Maraccini, Greg Gillespie and Clayton Echard. Both of them are Laura Owens victims, but we haven't done a dive into one of her victims, and is the only one that has had some form of experience actually knowing this girl in any capacity whatsoever. I'm not talking about blowjob one time. I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about a few weeks of wanting to go on dates. I'm talking about a full blown relationship for 2 years. And so many things have happened to even build a bit more context. You know, there is the interview that Mike himself gave to Megan Fox, but we're not going to talk about that because I haven't watched the whole thing. I haven't watched the whole thing. I'm still going through it. However, um, that in of itself is a conversation piece on its own. There was so much picked up so far, but for today we're just gonna go through the history, the timeline, as well as just the court's trial. The allegations, all those things. And in with me today to do that is Bruce from Oregon, as well as Rosalyn Duke. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I appreciate every single one of you. Yeah, Rosalind, you haven't been here for a while. I really like I said off stage, off screen. I really miss having you around.
Oh,
I yeah, like I didn't get your opinions on any of the things that was coming out last week. So I want to start with you before we do go on to Mike Maraccini, because I do have a couple of questions to ask you. I want to know: did you see the texts that came out in regards to Greg Gillespie? We were covering that all last week.
um, yeah, I've seen some of it. I haven't been on top of everything as far as the past week goes. Just other stuff happening, but yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, what did you make of it? Like, what did you make of that relationship? I don't think I've only got your views on Clayton Echard, but that's about it. I don't know what you know about Greg Gillespie. Like, what do you think about that?
Um, I like Greg. Greg's got a great sense of humor, and I think you can kind of hear his snark in some of those tests. So he's not gonna, mess around with nonsense, really, or he tried not to. Um, I think he just didn't realize what he was really up against.
Oh gosh, could you like Laura must represent like a final boss in like levels, used to like yeah, she must really represent that. And the one when you sometimes start off playing a video game and you get that boss that's like really difficult to get past, but not that difficult. Not that you can still kill it, but it would just take a bit longer of a time. And Laura represents to me as that. Well, maybe I should flip it around and say a child is a final level, because Laura thought she got away with this one, got away with this one, and it was getting easier. And then she just met someone that is like the final boss to that you have to go through. Maybe I should put it like that. Anyway, but in regards to, so what do you know about Mike Maraccini, then, the person in question today? The
That's
person we talk about today. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that that's one relationship that I know the least about. I think it was, was the one that kind of set me off on this case, knowing that there was this other person out here who actually was really, really caught up in the courts for a long time with this girl. And, just the idea of how badly that affected his life just set me off. You know how I am about, like, I hate the false accusers, and especially
Mm.
the men. And I think there needs to be so much changed on that. I think we've talked about that over in the past, even about Depp and such. But yeah,
Okay. No. Yeah. Like. Yeah. Like. Laura Owens, I've accused him of abuse, like and not just any abuse. It's like the worst physical abuse you can be subjected to. Did she say, Bruce Morgan? I want to ask you, did she? What was the nature
Yeah.
of the allegations again? Did she say that she was locked up as well, and like like was it something as crazy as that? Am I
There are
confusing her
quite a
with her
few
age?
interesting
Because I'm
stories. Yeah.
am I confusing her, or like, or
No,
did
you're
she
right.
make those? Oh, she actually made those
So I think
allegations. What was it?
the most famous story with the Mike Maraccini case is probably the Iceland story, which
I
was
don't know
Right.
about
published.
this.
So they went on a trip to Iceland,
Okay.
and the details of that trip, Laura published her story of that trip in Chicken Soup for the Soul, and also did a TEDx talk
Mm.
about it.
Yeah, based on Mike. Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing is that back in May, we did a fundraiser with Dave Neal and Megan Fox, and a forensic investigator looked into Mike Maraccini's laptop, and they received all of the original text messages from the time frame during their relationship. And so we were able to actually see text messages that corresponded to things that we had previously only seen in some court documents or some depositions. And it was very interesting because the text messages paint a very different picture of what actually happened.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Okay, so these text messages, what was the substance of a couple of them? Like, do you have a couple of examples?
So, for example, in some of the court documents, Laura would say, "Oh, well, Mike wanted to go on a trip. Mike wanted me to buy him a watch, right?
Okay.
Mike wanted
Right.
me to take him out to dinner all the time."
Uh huh.
And when you look at the text messages, it's really Laura saying, "Hey, surprise, I got you plane tickets.
Right.
Hey, I'm going to get you this watch. I found a deal.
Well, and
Hey,
he
my
actually said,
parents want
"Don't
to
buy
take you out."
tickets."
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
He,
parents want to take you out to dinner. So a lot of the things in her stories, whether it's a deposition or Chicken Soup for the Soul or TEDx, they're almost completely contradicted by the actual text message records.
Okay. So
Yeah,
okay. So
it's a lot.
let's peel the layers back a little bit because I have a lot of questions now.
Yeah.
Um, first and foremost, uh, y- first and foremost, these um, first and foremost, the that Iceland trip. So I'm trying to put it into a timeline. Okay, at what point did she allege that Mike had begun physically abusing her? Because I'm trying. They were together for 2 years.
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's
did she
very
say that
interesting.
it began straight away, or sorry, what was the last part you said?
That's very interesting because I believe when we went through the text messages, what we learned was, I believe, and I'll try to find the exact date,
Okay.
but basically, at some point, uh, Mike starts sort of trying to pull back from this relationship, and just
Hmm.
they're like going to the gym sometimes, and texting sometimes, but he's trying to really move on with his life, right?
Mm.
And it's a point where he's on a date with a new lady, and Laura finds out. And soon after this is when she starts filing the domestic violence suit, restraining order, temporary restraining order, and all of these things. This is very early in 2018.
Okay.
Like January 2018 is when this is happening.
Okay. Right. Okay. And over to you, Rosa, because I want to ask the question. I want to ask. Um, I want to ask the question in regards because there was one allegation that she made on here, against Mike, saying that, you know, and I'm guessing this is the genesis of the whole pregnancy tirades. The whole pregnancy. I am this pregnant. I'm always pregnant. but I never actually become a mother. That regret that she must be feeling, after going through all of these relationships where she just so close but so far gone. This is when it all started. Like this is when it all that those pregnancy claims, because apparently she was pregnant. She said that she was pregnant with twins here. Is this is this the same twins with Clayton, or is this the actual origin of the story?
I don't think we even know that for sure. This is the earliest one we have documented.
So wait a second, because when I asked Big Johnson this last time, because I asked her, remember, Bruce, I asked her about Gillespie as well, whether it started there, because no one knows when the twins actually started.
My understanding is that there was talk of twins in the Mike Maraccini case in the
Right.
text messages. So that's the first we've seen of twins. Now, there is talk of a previous relationship prior to Mike Maraccini. And presumably there was a pregnancy claim in that case as well, but we don't know if it was related to twins or not. So we have information about twins in the Mike case, Mike Maraccini case, the Greg Gillespie case, and the Clayton Echard case. So she did the full hat trick on twins at a minimum.
Okay. So in regards to the TEDx talk that she was, have you guys seen that TEDx talk?
Right.
You guys watched the whole thing?
I watched it once. I don't really like watching it because it's
No, I don't
Maybe.
blame you. I don't
it's
blame you.
kind of cringy and
No,
Yeah.
I don't. I remember the first time I watched it as well. It wasn't really the most, the most.
Convincing.
No, just not the most interesting person even speaking. I'm not even throwing shade. I mean, if I didn't have an objective to watch, I would have ducked out at 3 minutes, if that. If we make it that. But because I had to listen to her, it is what it is. But she but I wanted to ask in that TEDx, she was, because you said earlier, Bruce, that she was, ask ascribing, I'm not sure what right word to use there, but she was, the allegations that she was making on that talk was about Mike Maraccini. So which of the allegations that she was making of that, because she said quite a bit, uh and she didn't really put a name on it either. There was no name. So what kind of subliminals was said on the talk that would allude to Mike? If you remember,
mean,
if you
are you asking how do we know that she's talking about Mike?
No, just the nature of the allegations and the contradiction that you were mentioning earlier, how it contradicts the messages. So I'm trying to piece together which part that you're referring to, and the messages that is, that contradicts what she was claiming then. So that's basically it. Yeah.
Well, she claimed that there was a lot of physical abuse on that trip. And when you read through the actual text message logs from Mike's laptop, he was actually sick for a big part of that trip. Like he had a cold or the flu or something like that, and was hanging out sort of alone in the hotel room for a lot of it based on these text messages. So to me, it's sort of like how is somebody who's got the cold or the flu on this trip, this long trip, suddenly being so abusive? It's just kind of difficult to believe. I think one of the other things was that in the TEDx talk, Laura shows a photograph of herself, and she says, "Oh, after we got back from the trip, I posted these nice photos on Instagram, but at the same time, here's a photo of what I was really doing, which is being in the hospital after a bad night with my abuser."
Right.
And from the laptop forensics, what we've discovered is she basically sent another photo from that same set of photos to Mike at a prior point in time, way before the trip, related to her having some medical issues. So she took a photo of her having
dehydrated or something.
some medical issues, and reused it in this story about how Mike abused her. So that was clearly false.
Sort of like Amber Heard recycled pictures.
Yeah, maybe.
This girl was Amber Heard before Amber Heard stepped on the scene. She seems like she was doing the work.
Maybe.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So let me try, and I'm not sure if I've got the right document here, so you guys do correct me. But before I do share the screen, I just want to go to the chat really quickly. Thank you so much, IT Goatee, for joining the chat. Hey, Mr. Brad, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that you're having a great day, and I hope everyone in that chat is having a great day. Zach says the uninsulated juror. Oh, wow. Well, I mean, I feel very insulated today. I mean, it's been a good day. So, but I'll take it. I was uninsulated yesterday, so I'll give you that. I'll give you that. And it happens. It happens sometimes. Zach said, I can't say I came by just to ignore Rosalyn Duke. He said to ignore you again. So, do you feel ignored yet, Rosalyn? Do you feel ignored?
It's just so hard to feel ignored when he keeps reminding me.
Oh, Zach, why not actually ignore her? You might actually, remind her that you are ignoring her. That might be a great reminder. Roy Lunson just says false accusations won't stop until the courts decide to punish the false accuser, whatever punishment the victim would receive if convicted. That's a very good point, because I remember from the interview that Mike did with Megan, and he was bringing up this point. I didn't, like I said, I didn't finish the interview. I kind of was like a few seconds after this, or maybe a minute after this, I stopped. But the point was making was in regards to the court and the need that there was a lawyer that told him that they give out restraining orders like easy or something like that, and he would like, I don't know if I'm quoting him properly. I think he said he would like that doesn't happen so easily or something like that. I think that's what he said. And I think that is a good way forward at stopping this, like actually making that process a bit more rigorous. The punishment, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, because you then have a question of, if someone is found not guilty, right, in a trial, right, just not guilty, do you then pursue him or her? Like let's say, because obviously when you found not guilty, some people, the jury did not believe what you had to present on some level, whether it be true or false. They just didn't believe on some level. So the problem that presents is, do you now say that the person that's now been found not guilty, they are accused, defense acquitted and everything, do you now turn around and charge the claimant that complained to the prosecution? So things like that actually is very important to answer. But at the same time, the system does there are cases where people are, when they have gone through this level, where literally faking sonograms and faking medical reports and all of that, which is literally illegal. When that happens, I have seen cases where they take that and they jail the person. So there are what I'm trying to say is that there are punishments, but how they juggle it is the issue, because this one here is happening. Like, she's been recommended for perjury, but that's actually a good punishment. But in terms of as a whole, false accusations, it has to. I think if it's not on this level, you're gonna hear more of Trevor Bauer. Like, this is the difference between Lindsay Hill and her friend. Remember that case, Trevor Bauer case? You have the black girl that also accused him of essay on that, but the black girl was clearly a lot more worse than Lindsay. Like, Lindsay was just saying which is a lie, but she actually falsified documents. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, those are the levels that I think it makes it really hard to sometimes punish things like this, because we know that Lindsay got paid by an insurance company for even making the accusation. So it's just weird. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say on that comment.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I think it's very nuanced for
mm,
sure. I think the problem we have with the Trevor Bauer, that made it easier to prosecute was the request for money.
mm,
So that makes it a little bit different. Laura's not asking for money, and that's where it kind of, I think that's what makes other judges dismiss it as anything other than, oh, well, she must be telling the truth. She's not asking for anything.
right.
I mean,
So
that's my opinion, but
yeah. No, it's completely valid. It's completely valid. Uh, hmm, maybe that's a lesson. Don't ask for money. Just try and play a blinder and hope you get paid. I don't know. I don't
oh
know. Also,
no.
also dates instead. Well, demand dates. Like, if you leave me
Yeah,
alone, I will drop the false accusations. Oh
right.
gosh. Um. Uh. To that direct, Shawnee says Mike was not the first victim, according to Justice for Clayton Wiki. There was a previous victim.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Right.
I did not know
Right.
this. The floor is yours, both of you. Anyone who wants
Well,
to take
that's
the
what I was
stage, please.
saying. That's the
Please.
one where we don't know if there was a twin claim. We
Oh,
don't.
We
We just
don't
don't.
know a lot about that case.
so there is. Wait. There is actually a whole nother case out there. There's no name to.
There's a person.
There's a name,
Who's?
but they don't want to come forward
Oh
and
yeah,
tell their
yeah, yeah,
story,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
we won't say
I
their
remember that.
name here.
I remember that.
Right.
I remember that.
And
Yeah, John.
from what I understand, there's an additional one that was even prior to Mike. And I think there's been some question marks on that too, but I'm not going to try to dox anybody on that either, because like I said, they haven't come forward either. So I
Okay.
think we're at 5 total.
5. I think you. I think the fact that we are talking about her, and also the fact that we all watched her TEDx, talk. I think we all deserve. I think we all should hit the like button for that. We all gotta congratulate ourselves. Make sure you hit the like button, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Well
Nom
played.
Nom the Plume says interesting, isn't it? Another false accuser setting herself up as an ambassador for DV and SA victims. I don't know why this is a trend. I actually don't know what it is, because with the work that I with my interest and the work that I do and the things I want to achieve on here, people speaking and being ambassadors, for DV and SA is actually a very good thing. And I think people should actually keep doing that. People like this, that use that platform in the way that they have been using in the past 4 years, I would say, from 2018. People like that, I'm sorry, they need to get rid of them ASAP, because that platform, I think people of influence actually speaking on DV is actually a very important thing. I understand it has to be credible, but putting the people that are not credible on there is to me is, and they know it. I think they know that these people are not for real, like the Laura Owen as well as Bambi Heard. They're not for real, but for some reason they just still give them a platform because I don't know. Someone hosts on someone something. I have no idea. Why do you think that these? I'll ask you, Rosalyn. Why do you think that uh, these organizations set up people like Laura Owen or even Amber Heard or anyone without really verifying or checking the nature of their claims at all or anything like that? They just like. What do you think about that? And how do you think that even exists in today's world? Because we should be better, not making it easier, but making it a bit harder to get on those podiums because of how serious the forum is. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Well, I think it's the remnants of Me Too and Believe All Women. And so some of these organizations were very embedded in the campaigns behind that. And so it's important to them to be a victim's advocate on some level. The problem is they just didn't learn from the experience that all of us have seen. I mean, it's like we're not allowed to believe our lying eyes. Like these girls are manipulating, and they have been for a very long time, long before Me Too. But Me Too kind of elevated the platform for them to be able to, oh, look, now I can be very high profile. I mean, we saw what, again, to bring up Amber, what she did. I mean, she was, you know, traveling around the world speaking, became ambassador, you know, for now ACLU. Yeah. And I mean, how much was she getting paid for per speaking
Yeah.
engagement? I mean, it's profitable to tell a lie.
Yeah, I think Amber Heard was like 24K or 34K or something like that. So
Right.
it's not it's not easy money. It's actually a lot of money. So that motive being financially driven, personal gain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And I
like
mean, it's no wonder that they hunker down. I mean, like they really dig their heels into the story because there's a lot to lose.
right. Gotcha. That's why it's still up with the comments deactivated. I get it. Okay, I was wondering why the comments were deactivated when I was watching it for the first time. Because I was like, there's no way it was like that at the start. Absolutely no way. He must have
Mm.
because the allegations were not looking at it was 2022 that talk, wasn't it? So the allegations didn't hit until after Clayton was like a few months after the TEDx, I think. Yeah, I think
It
so.
was later than that, I think.
Yeah, so again, I don't think from the start it would have been uh private until it really got traction. Roy Lawson
Right.
Roy Lossinger says, I'm thinking, oh, going back to the convicted, the whole false accusation things. He says, I'm thinking more like when a man is convicted of rape on a false accusation and is cleared years later, either by DNA. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. That's a whole different. There's so many cases that I've looked at because I'm actually doing. I'll take this opportunity for a shameless plug. I'm actually doing a stream on people that have been exonerated on false accusations, and I want to go into the how they got it, etc. How they got that, and a lot of those people, like even the accuser comes up and actually speaks to them as if that's it. It's literally just sorry. I actually do agree in this situation. If they find something that was exculpatory and they knew it wasn't them and it was that clear cut, I think something should accompany that because that is still deceit. That is still fraud. It's on the same level as faking a sonogram on one way or the other. It's just, So in that case, Roy, I actually do agree with you. I do agree that there should be recourse for that. That's not even a debate. So we're gonna go. Let me just share this. Gonna go into the. Let me just share this report because this is the. I'm not sure if I've got the right file up here. So you guys, but this is the report in regards to the forensics that was done in the extraction of the messages that they were talking. Yeah, this was for the extraction, etc. So I don't
Right.
know. So I was actually looking for the text messages. I still couldn't find it. Am I in the right place? This is not the right place, is it?
Well, this is
Bruce.
just the 4-page report.
Okay.
I don't think I think the full log of all the text messages, I don't think that's publicly available. There are only pieces of it that have been
Oh,
released.
okay. Right. Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
And if you want to do a deep dive, there's a long document that was recently on Reddit, just for clean Reddit, which takes pieces of police reports, depositions, other stories from Laura's side and puts them side by side with the text messages that they do have to show which pieces refute other pieces.
Do you
But
have
again, that's a huge
sorry, Bruce.
document. It's like 60 pages long, I think.
Do you have the maybe you can share the site. Do you have the site?
I don't. I mean, I went over it with Laura Knighty on her channel, so she had all those pulled up.
Okay. Okay. I don't. Yeah, I was really hoping to find. I was really hoping to find those text messages, but it is what it is. I can't find it, unfortunately. Well, what more can you do?
Yeah, you
Um,
you may want to go find those on Reddit and read through them and figure out which pieces you really want to highlight on the stream because it's a lot of material.
yeah, I could. I'm trying to find. Okay, so yeah, tabling another stream. Okay, but tabling another stream, but I need
Yeah.
to. Okay, uh, I don't mind looking now. I don't mind looking now. So I don't mind. But before I do that, because I will look. I do have the question. I do. Damn it! I lost it. Never mind. Never mind. Let me. All right. So Rosalind, going to you. Oh, sorry about that. Going to you. So I remember when you went to the courthouse. I remember you saying that if a trial does happen, these three men might testify against Laura in all of this.
Oh, sure.
Uh yeah. So uh I haven't watched the interview with Mike at all in any way. But if he was to be asked, you know, what I hope someone asked him this question because I really like I was burning to ask him this question when he was under and and hopefully you know Megan did ask because but in my head I was but the question I wanted to ask you really, in a way, do you think that is a situation in which did, how do I put it? How do I put it? What do you think he would say if he was asked on the oath when Laura approached you and said that she was pregnant? What did you make of it? Um, if he was asked that question, what do you think his response would be? It's a bit of a left field question, but
Well,
I'm
I
building
mean,
to
his
something.
his response
Go
his
on.
response now versus then. I mean, I think
Oh,
they were intimate at that time. I don't think he had any reason to question her in that moment. I think it wasn't until there was, you know, the manipulation was strung out over time that he started to have some kinds of questions. I think he absolutely trust. I mean, he was in a relationship, even though they didn't necessarily call it one. I mean, I think it was a couple of years, so it's kind of hard to deny that there's
mm,
just an ongoing. But he would try to slip away, and she would, you know, drag him back in, and sticks and carrots.
mm.
So I think in the moment, yeah, I think he probably did believe her.
Like I really wish I watched the full interview now because I would have loved to known how he felt. He must have been asked. He must have been asked. Surely he must have been asked. But oh well. It is what it is. But I wanted to say
Well,
though. Go
from the
on. Sorry.
timeline, so um, they I believe he originally believed her because in the timeline they talk about how the whole family went out to dinner and discussed what to do.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
think
Okay.
he just thought
Yeah,
this was a normal part. Like who would lie about something like this? But then later that year in 2016, right? I think one of the unique things about the Mike case is that Mike actually was told by the family, like I think by Laura's father, that she had made up or faked this pregnancy. Like I don't think he discovered it by like finding a Fiverr logo or
no.
something sort of detective-y like that. I think it was just through the normal dealing with her issues, her mental health issues, that he learned that she had faked this pregnancy. And her dad, basically said, hey, she likes to make up these stories and then believes them. So, we just need to get her in a good place and then we'll get you out of this relationship. Or
Wait, the
then
dad
we'll
told
drop
him
these.
that.
Yeah.
Wait,
Right. Right.
the dad. Wait,
Yeah.
her
And
dad.
Her dad.
yeah.
I
So,
actually didn't know that.
yeah. So apparently Laura's dad was telling Mike all these things like, hey, if you just do this, then we'll get you out of this. If you do this, we'll drop these charges. And then, of course, that never happens.
So the
So,
dad was complicit
yeah.
with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My
Now,
reading is that the
okay.
dad is stringing Mike along. And then eventually, when it comes time for the dad to help Mike, he throws him under the bus to
Right.
keep Laura's story going.
What did he say? Wait. What did he? Oh, he completely denied helping
Yeah.
him or anything like that. Okay.
Yeah,
So it makes
like I think
yeah.
he at one point said, "Hey, we'll get these, restraining order charges dropped or what are these court cases dropped," but then they didn't.
Right.
So repeatedly, from whatever it is, 2018 till effectively now, she has had court order, uh, you know, protective orders against Mike for the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah. I remember you. I remember it being said in the last time that we were all together. Like, yeah, like she had taken out all of these restraining. I think it was 3 restraining orders against him. I think it was 3. No. Sorry, 3 different men, 3 different restraining orders. My bad. No, but it was no, but was it multiple? Am I getting it wrong? Was it multiple calls that of DV, multiple claims of DV that she made? Am I getting that wrong
Yeah.
completely?
So, I mean, in the timeline, I think she filed a domestic violence case against Mike. She got a temporary restraining order. She filed
Right,
for a regular restraining order. So she tends to build these things up because, like you said, it's very easy to get a temporary restraining order,
right,
which on one side of the coin is very good because you don't want anybody being injured by domestic violence.
right.
But on the other hand, once you get to the point where you have a full restraining order or you're renewing these orders
You
over
need to start.
time,
Yeah, you need to
like I
start
think she got
producing
another
evidence.
5-year order in 2020, so that's still going.
Wow.
And when those go on his record to the point where potential employers are seeing it and he has to explain it,
Mm,
I think that's the part where you need to start looking at what is the real evidence for this. Because, yeah, it's fine
right.
to have a temporary restraining order just to keep everybody safe. But
Mm,
once you start impacting another person's life, that's when you need to start looking harder at the evidence.
Absolutely.
right.
Absolutely.
So so in that case, I want to ask the question then because when did Mike ever sorry, has Mike ever said or given any kind of impression as to how, what did he think when she claimed that she just was it miscarriage that she claimed for this one?
Well, this is way
The
more
child?
complicated to no,
Yeah,
this
I
is
remember.
worse.
I remember this. I remember you telling me this ages ago. I remember
I
you telling
believe
me
in
and Rosalyn.
2016, they just claimed that there was an abortion.
So it wasn't even a miscarriage; it was actually an abortion. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, there's so many cases.
But
So
was
yeah,
it
because I know
I
that
thought
Greg was a. Sorry, go on, go on.
I thought that I thought that this is also where she introduced the cancer. Or is that a
Yeah.
second pregnancy with Mike?
So
Uh,
go on.
yeah, I think that's correct. I don't have the whole, I don't think the timeline actually has the whole timeline for the cancer story, which is maybe something we can work on.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely know that she was making. You guys did say it in the first stream that she made fake claims of seizure and all that. I didn't know that was in relation to Mike and fake claims of cancer and seizure. I didn't know that was all relating to Mike, but here we are. But like that's That's what I
Yeah,
do
and
know.
it's very confusing because she was involved in, this Uber car accident, and some of the text message records indicate that potentially she had seizures after that.
Hmm.
But then also, there are times where she's fallen off of horses and then had
Right.
seizures, or had a seizure, then fell off the horse. It's unclear. So it's very difficult to tell when these seizures started, or exactly, from my reading of the text messages, it seemed like the seizures began after the Uber car accident. And of course,
Right.
in the Chicken Soup for the Soul TEDx video stories, she claims she developed these seizures because of the domestic violence. So that's another contradiction, in addition to the
Right.
photograph.
Right.
Yeah, because it can't be because of the different domestic violence and the accident that was. I knew it because that's what I was thinking at the start. Because I remember Big Johnson mentioning the fact that I just didn't know the context. I was like, because when you guys break this down, and
Yeah.
I watched these lives back because I'm like, okay, cool. We talked about this. I don't want to go through the same thing again. I don't want to repeat myself on every stream. So I have to watch it live. I have to kind of like quality control like that. But every time I was watching these lives back, I did not know any of the references. I was like, yo, what is going on? Why am I hearing that she manipulated this? Who is she manipulating this with? Who is so I'm like every question I was trying to ask in regards to how would he feel, if he was understand, what would he say? It would be because I know Clayton and I know what he would say. So I'm trying to like use that as kind
Yeah.
of like a
He's done many
Right.
more
full of
interviews,
bullets to bring everyone
and it's
together.
more recent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're almost going back 10 years almost. And
Right.
we haven't had all these high profile interviews with Greg and
Right.
Mike. So it's harder to
Yeah.
know exactly what
It,
happened
it
there.
it really is. I feel bad if anyone is coming to this. It does. I'm not gonna lie. It does motivate me in a way to like kind of make one video that really brings everything together. And then like it does because someone coming in new, they're not like these references that you guys say on stream, some of the things that you guys pull out, not your fault because that's how memory work. It shortens, it tries to condense and
Hmm.
keep everything concise so that we can function without falling apart. But
Right.
but when like there is so much story when you guys say one word. There's so much behind that, and I'm trying to dig into every single one. So when I say things like okay, imagine this, and it's literally like because I do feel stupid when I ask the question, but it's literally just to like try and bring as much context out of the parts that I've highlighted to be like, no, you gotta dig into this, you gotta it's just for that. I just that's for you, chat, because I this is a web. It's a web basically. So I want to Nom the Plums here says, has she ever had a court-ordered psychiatric assessment? Has she been diagnosed with anything? The floor is open to either one of you that might know this.
Not that I know of.
I think that in Mike's records, there's something along the lines that she was on some medication, um, uh, anti-anxiety medications, antidepressives, but that was also, I think, epilepsy medicine or seizure medication. So, of course, some of those cross over and are used for, other diagnoses. So, I would say that there has to have been something at some point in her life, but court ordered, I don't think so.
Okay, that's fair. All right.
Yeah. She definitely has provided medical visits, presumably. I think the interesting thing related to that, but nothing court ordered, but the interesting thing related to that is if you watch Lauren Knighty's streams, because she works in the healthcare industry
Right.
related to this field. In these text message exchanges with Mike, Laura talks about basically self-admitting herself because of depression and other mental health crisis issues
Hmm.
for treatment. And the way she describes the process of doing this and what happens to her while she's doing it in these text messages, Lauren is basically just saying, this is not how it works.
Right.
Whatever she's actually doing is not what she's describing in these text messages, because it wouldn't work that way. Like, you wouldn't have your cell phone during a 24-hour hold or something like this.
Right.
So there's a very deep dive in all of that.
And there's not a 24-hour
over
hold.
there.
It's a 72-hour hold, unless a
Yeah.
judge you get before a judge and you try to shorten it. It's a standard. The Baker Act of 5150. That's
Oh, yeah.
72 hours.
Right.
So a
Okay.
lot of those things where she's trying to reel Mike back in with this story of, oh, you need to talk to me because I'm in this crisis mode. A lot of it just does not ring true to medical professionals that work in that domain.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for providing that context. It's complicated is the answer to that question on the plume. We don't know what she may have going on up in that noggin. Auntie M
Walnut.
says Auntie M says there's no way to tell the story in one sitting. There is just too much. Challenge accepted.
It's more like Laura of the Rings. I mean, it's like a saga.
I'll take that on that challenge. Okay.
It's like Game of Thrones, Game of Twins.
Exactly.
Right. Bethany Shermy, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. I appreciate you, Dr. Hines. Laura, I'm guessing that's Laura's. Laura's filings allege physical DV with Mike started in Iceland while TEDx talk claims napkin lady on the plane. Napkin lady's note on the plane to Iceland showed her she was being abused. Thank you so much. That's kind of what maybe I'll work on the way I frame my questions. But yeah, that was essentially what I was trying to because we don't have the communication. So I was trying to frame this. I did not know this. Yeah, I did not know this, but I'm glad that I'm not can. Okay, that is one of the inconsistencies that was that just was not possible, could not be possible. Based on her own words. Roy Lawson just says most everything in the records provided to the court are self-reported claims, nothing confirmed by actual examination or diagnosis. And I think that's the issue, a massive issue, because the therapist reports and all that, it's not. You need you need the people that that's
sure.
That's where the true yeah yeah, because I'm not sure. Would I be right in saying that even in Roy's example of self-reported, would you guys agree with me if I say that even the pregnancy claims that she made are all self-reports and not independently medically examined? Is that a correct way to because I have looked for all the evidence in this, and I feel like you guys would have posted it if there was evidence of something. But it turns out, it seems that it's just based on her saying, well, I said that I've done this, so yeah, I've done it. But
yeah, I think this is the difference between what they called in the June 10th hearing as just sort of colloquial pregnancy versus clinical pregnancy.
Oh.
So there are medical records sent by providers to the lawyers related to positive or negative HCG tests.
Mm-mm.
The problem is HCG is an indicator of pregnancy, but it is not confirmation of a clinical pregnancy. We do not have any direct evidence from a provider of clinical pregnancy, and that would require a provider to have an ultrasound that they send to Greg Woodnick, or fetal heartbeat records from a fetal heartbeat monitor sent from a provider to Greg Woodnick, or colloquially, like they said in the June 10th trial, at the end you have a baby, and the baby is the proof that someone was pregnant, right? And we don't have that either.
Usually.
And not to be morbid, but if there was a miscarriage, we don't have any sort of pathology that would indicate there was fetal death that we could show to prove the pregnancy. There's nothing like that. So we have no clinical proof of pregnancy that was sent directly from a provider to Greg Woodnick. That's the problem.
And it's a massive problem as well. I appreciate you saying all of that, Bruce, because I am kind of, I don't know this case well enough to speak boldly like I am about to do now, but I'm kind of disappointed that the courts have allowed her to, like, I kind of wanted to hear at one point that the judge actually made a final ruling and was like, yo, bring in a third party test, and that's it. That's all I want, you know. And the fact
Yeah.
that there's been no
Well-
medical providers even coming in, like, you know, I'm not sure if I'm right by saying like, even forensics, like the ones that can analyze in that way. I don't know how that whole area works, but the point is, I have not seen it's all coming from Laura, and it doesn't make sense how you have a court that is an independent body not put onus on everyone having to go through the independent route, since they're coming to an independent route anyway. That doesn't make sense to me. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I think one of the problems where
Right.
I work, we call it siloing. When you have a group or a team or a person who's so focused on one job that they can't see the big picture, right? You lost the forest for the trees. And in the Clayton case, she filed a family court case about like a family plan. So like, we're gonna have twins. Who gets the twins on Christmas? Who gets the twins on Halloween or whatever, you know? And the family court, that's their job, is to figure this out. And Clayton goes there and he's like, I don't even understand what we're doing here. There's no babies. And the family court is just like mystified by this because they're in their lane, right? They're doing their job, which is to figure out, make a decision on these disagreements about, you know, what to do with these babies. They're not there to try and figure out and do detective work like Sherlock Holmes, whether these babies exist or not. So there's this big period in the case where they're like, okay, let's go get paternity tests. Let's get the RevGen tests. And they're waiting because they're trying to get the RevGen tests. You know, there was the weather event, so one of the results didn't come back. The first one was little to no fetal DNA. So they're like, let's do it again. And they're just trying to do their job. And eventually they're like, you know, there's not enough progress in this case. We don't have any babies yet. There's no paternity result. So we're just going to let this thing's just, you've taken too long. We're just going to dismiss this whole
Right.
thing. And that was
Right.
because they're staying in their lane. They're like, our job is to deal with the family questions. If there's no family
Right.
questions, we're done.
Right.
So they're not looking at the big picture of like, why is all this happening in the first place? And that's kind of the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right, because and to be fair to the courts, they they kind of have to think like that. I'm not stepping on you on what you said, by the way. I think
Oh
it's
yeah, I
valid.
mean, there's only so many hours in the day, and they only have so much staff, so they're
Yeah,
headcount constrained.
no, but I was going to make the point and add to your point though in regards to prosecutions, because I remember you saying in regards to the whole false accusations thing, and people, well, not you, Roy was saying it on the chat, and he was basically alluding to the people that get falsely, you know, what we were talking about earlier about the false conviction. The issue is the prosecution, because they're the ones that are supposed to actually be looking for this. So my thing is, and I get your point, I actually do. My addition to your point is just, when are the courts actually going to look at cases like this? And yeah, they make the kind of the kind of, I don't know what word to use, but they make the kind of connection that this is weird. So I get the referral that happened in the end of this, or where Judge Matter done it, but I want it to be a situation in which you can be proactive enough to still go through the filings from the state, but then you're like, I'm still gonna make the referral to the prosecution so that they can actually do an investigation right here and there, because they can actually do that. That's their department. So that's where I'm coming from. Like, like, even if you're seeing this and you're like, okay, we may not be here for this, but this does look weird. I am going to um I'm going to pass it along because there's a bit of abnormalities that come out, like has naturally happened in this case. Because of those abnormalities, what I'm trying to say is that if they have done it earlier, when it was at the time when, rather than at the end when they're now deferring it again, what the judge done is still a good thing. But I wish it was done at the time that all this was done, so they can still get a ruling, can still get the case dismissed, or have whatever resolution that they were going to have, but the criminal aspect still gets forwarded. Because for me to hear that someone has actually admitted to falsifying, the sonogram that they have, for me to hear that, and the court's like, okay, you falsified, that's nothing. I'm like, how do you not refer that to the DA to at least investigate more? They don't have to bring in charges. I mean, it's not your job as a court to like pursue charges. I get that, but still refer it. Like, how do you not see that and be like, yo, I'm gonna do this ASAP? Okay, we can still continue, but I kind of want you to look at this and take it from there. But that's just me.
Yeah,
That's just
it's
me.
pretty curious when we
Yeah.
learned that that sonogram was, the name was changed presumably changed from Planned Parenthood to SMIL or whatever it was.
Did she ever say why? So hold on to that question. I got ahead of myself. Finish off your point. Sorry.
But yeah, people were speculating, that maybe one of these organizations, Planned Parenthood or SMIL, might take offense to somebody manipulating records used in court cases, pointing at their organization, and would do that sort of reporting themselves or take action themselves in some way. But I mean, I don't know. It kind of depends on, what sort of things they want to prioritize, I guess.
Right.
It's a challenge, right?
Yeah.
Because if you say, let's go get the microscope out and look at every suspicious thing in every single court case that's happening all over the place, like there's not enough time in the day to do that.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Like, I mean, like, it's just like I said, it's not as if you have to go looking for this stuff, but I'm literally saying it's kind of perplexing to read a document and hear that a judge has actually found that there was a level of criminality, and then it has to wait till the end for there to be action. That's weird to me. I think it should have come right. I mean, that's why people plead the fifth, isn't it? So that they don't get this action against them. But maybe that could be the reason why, because they don't want to violate that right. Maybe that could, they don't want to violate that due process, so they gotta wait till the end. Oh, maybe that's why. Oh, okay. Maybe that's why. Anyway, 1 hour. We are now in the 1 hour mark. Make sure that you hit the like button if you're enjoying what we have to offer you so far. Thank you so much to everyone, every single one of you that are locked in right now, because like I said, like every single likes that you guys give and every single subscribe that you guys give, it does actually do it goes a long way, guys, especially in helping us with our goals to getting monetized on this channel, where we do discussions like this as well as discussing other cases. We are ever so close, and when I say close, I literally mean we have um we have grown in a way, and it's a good growth. I'm so happy to say that we've got 319 subscribers. We are so close to hitting that 500. The watch time hours, you guys are actually watching it, and I'm super happy that to see that you guys are actually enjoying this. So yeah, like, make sure you guys do like and hit the subscribe button. Hopefully we will get to that, and I can do more and make it a lot more interactive. I didn't even know that the polls and all of that, you had to be like an affiliate to do that. I can't even do polls on here. I can only do it on my main Dr. Hines channel. So get us out, so hopefully every single one of you guys that are watching the stream and supporting the stream, you guys can hit the like button and subscribe. It will really help us to get over that line and make this into more of a community for you guys. Like I said, we cover live streams on here. We do trial watch on here, and we provide updates like this for other cases that we do cover. I am going to be talking about the Ashley Benefield case that is going on right now. I think it stopped on it stopped on Ashley Benefield's cross examination. She has been accused of murdering her husband, but she claims self defense because she claims that there was DV in their relationship, which there possibly could be. Who knows? But we're gonna go through those claims, those DV claims, only the claims. So even if the trial was to finish on Tuesday and there was a guilty verdict straight away, it wouldn't matter. Like the analysis that's going to happen on Insight on Wednesday, this Wednesday coming out for the live stream is purely to go into the DV claims and how credible those claims are, not whether should we find guilty or not guilty. So make sure you check out that live stream on the main Dr. Hines channel. All links are in the description. Let's go back into discussing Mike Maraccini. So I want to go to you. Who do I actually want to go to? Sorry. I want to go to. Who do I want to go to? Me, Manny Mo. Sorry. I'm joking. Sorry. Rosalyn, I want to go to you because I want to know what stuck out to you out of all of Laura's claims, because what stuck out to you in regards to Mike Maraccini and the DV allegations? What stuck out to you that it just wasn't plausible?
Well, I had the benefit of hearing from Clayton and Greg as well. So it's a little bit easier to get there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Okay. Continue.
It's a little bit easier to get there once you've heard it in the way we've heard it. It came to us as Clayton, then Greg, then Mike. But just the conversations between them and what her story and how she spoke to him, or they spoke to each other, was not indicative of a relationship that had violence involved in it.
Okay. And what about you, Bruce?
What was the exact question again?
Sorry. Sorry if you've also. I want to say if you've already answered this in a way. I'm sorry for that, and I can rephrase the question. But it was just more of the DV allegations that she made against Mike Maraccini. What stuck out to you when you heard it? As no, she's lying, and I do understand. We do have other cases to compare to, as Rosalyn said. It's a bit easier to figure it out. But
I think there's two things.
Okay.
I think one thing is there are numerous recountings of her stories with Mike, which is kind of unique. So there's like the Chicken Soup for the Soul book, there's the TEDx talk, there's depositions or court transcripts, and there's she did an interview with a podcaster at some point and told part of the story. And when you compile these together and take elements of her stories, there are pieces that are very contradictory or that disagree.
So there's
like, and these are not things like, did I have a cheeseburger or a chicken sandwich for lunch 2 weeks ago? Like, you can't remember. So you might get that element wrong. That's just normal human memory. These are things where if you're telling a very specific story, you're going to remember what happened. Like, did the airplane napkin note get ripped up or not? Because there's in one version of the story it gets ripped up. In another version of the story, it doesn't get ripped up. You're not going to make these errors for something that actually happened truthfully in such an impactful way. I think number two, the other thing is when you compare Michael's text message logs from his laptop to all of these court case documents TEDx talk, etc., there are very obvious patterns where whatever happened in the text message log, Laura seems to take it and turn it around in a 180. You know,
Mm.
so if she's sending him very needy messages, like, "Oh, I really want to see you," or "I really want to be intimate," "Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that," she'll turn it around and say she didn't want to do any of that. He wanted to do all that.
Mm.
And that continues over and over again through this, like you said at the beginning, this much longer time period where we have more data to analyze. You know, with Clayton, it's like all we can analyze is like what happened that one night,
Mm.
and then in their text messages after that. But there's a much bigger time period here to look at, and you can see these patterns. Um, and so to me, those two things are the ones that, independent of the other two cases, are the things that convince me that there's something very suspicious going on here.
Okay. I wanna. This one goes to you, Rosalind, because actually no, sorry, Bruce, no, not Rosalind. I literally just remember when I said that you said you didn't really have much background in it, and this one is quite deep, the
Mhm.
question. So Bruce, I wanna but if you do know the answer, Rosalind, feel free to literally step in. No, legit. On the timeline, January 9th and January 6th, 2020, it's very interesting. And the reason why I find this very interesting is the fact that on the 6th, I believe it was said that Laura had gone to a restaurant and had in a basically when Mike was with his sister, he and apparently was dating someone new
Yeah. This is
or something
2018,
like
by the
that.
way, not 2020.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
Yeah.
So thank you for that correction. So yeah, that's the event, and she was screaming obscenities at him.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, she goes and files the DV allegations, which is the one that we obviously just spoke about.
Correct. Yeah.
Um, I don't know about you, but doesn't that just look suspicious? Like in a way, like because, like I said, to me, this is like a textbook revenge fantasy. Like I'm gonna get you back for putting me in the back burner. What do you make of that sequencing of events? Do you find that interesting? Do you
Yeah.
still
I
do you
think
think
that
that
was
that's
the
mm,
tipping point, right? So Mike was sort of effectively trying to pull away
right?
and move on. And I think this is when it sort of snapped for Laura that, you know, this isn't, we're not going to end up together.
Mm,
He's dating someone else. And she goes full, you know, court court mode, filing a case, filing a temporary restraining order. It's very similar to the moment that Clayton describes in the car the day after their encounter, where he says her face just totally changed and her demeanor changed. It was like a light switch changing. So to me, it's very similar.
Nom de Plume says she's only 34 because of this. If she is ever genuinely abused in the future, she's unlikely to be believed. That's a sad part about this because end of the day, let's just say that that's the case, right? I actually feel bad for Laura because for you to even go through this in the first place, all of these things like that you're doing to this man, I don't think you are psychologically well. That's just my opinion. That's just how I feel, you know. But that is the downside to what she's doing. If she actually gets physically abused,
Yeah.
it's kind of too bad.
I
And
mean, we
I
have a
don't,
saying at work,
and I'm saying that hoping it doesn't happen. I'm
right?
actually hoping, and this woman has done the worst thing, but I'm actually hoping that doesn't happen. And
Right.
this is even with the
Yeah.
fact that she turned around to call Mike, controlling all of those things. He was manipulative, all of that, to the new girl that like the sister, the new girl he was dating or whatever. He like she's doing all this knowing it's false, but she doesn't realize that if she does do it, sorry, if it does happen, if it does actually happen, she is in so much jeopardy. It's unreal. I want to ask
Yeah.
you, Rosalind, when when you hear, I want to know how it makes, because when you hear stories like this, no, the Laura Owens doing what they're doing, and then does it come to your, do you consider, how do you feel knowing that there is one day out there that she could get abused and she will not be believed, and based on everything that she's done, other women, if it does, other women might be disadvantaged. Like, what do you think the scale of the damage of what she, because 5 body, technically she's got 5 bodies. That's more than some gangsters kill in one day. Or a week or a month. No,
Yikes.
I'm just saying that's a lot of people. That is a lot of people. So would you feel sorry for someone like this? What do you think people like this? How do you feel about them even making these claims? And like, what do you think he does like, how does it make you feel? Or like all of this? Because I have my feelings. Like, I'm sorry. Go ahead. That does it. Like, do you think that we need a serious talk, because there's a bit too much now? I mean, we've always joked when we were younger, when there was not that much proof, like, oh, women lie all the time. You know, they're not trustworthy. We were like in the 90s. Like, these were the conversations. And now we're actually seeing it. We're actually seeing, like,
Right.
no, they're actually. So when these things happen, like, how does that? What do you think of that? Like, is it a situation? What would you like to change? Is it something you want? Like, what goes? What are your thoughts about it? I don't know how to ask the question properly. So I do apologize for that. Sorry, continue.
Okay, let me try to get that gathered. Um,
I'm sorry.
well, one, it's not that I don't feel sorry for Laura Owens. I can only imagine the chaos that's in her head. I don't think she lives the kind of life that's going to make her a potential victim on a regular basis. She's kind of secluded, sort of, sheltered, if you will. Um, I don't know what's wrong with people that do this to anybody ever. I have a hard time finding a reason that's excusable. So I'm very frustrated. I would not want this for any daughter or friend's daughter that I know. I wouldn't want her to go through this, because this is obviously a very seriously disturbed individual.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, it is this stuff.
sad.
Yeah, it is, because her being described by Mike as mentally unwell, but I did, but at the same time, the fact that she even was reacting to the way that he was dating someone new when they broke up a year before, that doesn't make sense to me. That's weird. That's
No.
that's like, that's unhinged behavior.
Yeah. She's
And
just very spiteful and vengeful. And
hmm.
it's no way to live. You've got to just learn how to put, like I always say, put a bow on it and leave it exactly where it belongs. Just here, there, dealt with that, moving on. But she can't do that. And everybody that's in her path will be destroyed.
Yeah. 100%. So I gotta ask a question. Anyone can answer this. The cancer story. How did that? even come about? Like, what was the reason that she gave for saying that cancer happened and all of this? Like, and has it ever been proven? Like, w- because if she made that up, there could be a plausible medical condition that could that could corroborate that. Because you know, maybe you can call it. No, it's not, because I think you need a child for that. Munchausen by proxy, isn't it? Something like that. Munchausen syndrome. I think you need a child for that, don't you? If you
Well,
have a
the
Munchausen
by proxy is the having the child part. Munchausen is
on
basically
its own.
hypochondria.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. In that case, that's what I was thinking. I think she's got Munchausen because for you to make up, I've got cancer. That has to.
Right. Right. I mean, it may not be an exact connection, but to me, that's my understanding is this perpetual illness. I've got this, I've got that. But I think that all comes in from I'm losing you. I'm going to manipulate you to keep you.
Roy Lawson just said you can't plead the fifth in a civil case without losing the case. I understand. No. I actually do. Well, it's very. I know what you're saying, but it's very limited based on the language. If it's a criminal activity, that's when you can plead the fifth in the civil case. It's just limited to if it's criminal activity. So imagine a situation. So imagine in a civil case, right? You got a bankruptcy hearing, right? But it turns out that there's evidence coming out that these men were not only, but they were also committing fraud with their books, and that's a financial crime, and that would lead to that little dispute that was in the civil court might now go into criminal courts because of this information. So if someone pleads the fifth in that moment and says, I don't want to plead, I want to plead the fifth, they can, and they wouldn't technically lose the case because of the element that's being considered. I hope you know what I mean. But I know what you mean though. What I was saying though to you, to answer your question, sorry, not question, but to kind of rebut, is that if I was only like giving a full exercise of due process, because pleading the fifth is part of the Fifth Amendment, and due process is essential. So I was only saying that if she made the recommendation before even seeing the whole case through, and this is Judge Julie Matter here, if she had made the recommendation at the time that I said would have been appropriate when she found this out and ruled, if she made that time, she may have been in violation of the Fifth Amendment. And I only got there because I said by accident that he could plead the fifth, but I actually didn't mean to say that. But it was to express the criminality of it, and that was that, and I gone to the due process part. So that's the context there. Nom de Plume says, during Clayton's hearings, where is defense allowed to mention the previous 4 very similar accusations? That goes for you, Bruce. What are you able to answer this question for me?
Yeah, I mean, they did bring up these previous cases, and they had Mike and Greg, and they were all on the witness list. So
okay.
if they had had time, Mike and Greg would have been able to testify. Now, what questions Laura's lawyer could object to, right? We don't know because they ran out of time. So, but they were there on the witness list, so they were allowed to be witnesses.
Okay. Great question, by the way, Num. That's a good question. I don't think many people knew that. Roy Lawson just says they can plead the fifth, but a judge can attach a negative connotation to it if you are the petitioner.
And I believe, in fact, on June 10th, there was a question exchange on cross where Deandra, one of Clayton's attorneys, was questioning Laura, and the judge effectively said, this is a non-responsive answer, because Laura wouldn't simply answer yes or no. She kept
What was the question?
pontificating about something.
What was the
So
question?
if you go back, you can find that. non-responsive answer condition.
Whereabouts? Sorry.
That was in the June 10th trial during the cross-examination when Laura was on the stand.
Clayton, right?
Mhm.
For the yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to get the documents right.
Yeah.
June 10th. Okay.
But I mean,
I
in the video of the hearing, you can watch that part,
for you. Okay.
or if
I
you have the
thought
transcripts from.
no. I thought you were actually instructing me to get transcripts. I didn't know you actually were just making
No, I mean,
a reference.
later
Yeah.
on, people
Yeah.
can look at that on their own.
Right. I know what you mean now. Thanks for that. Auntie M says she's a grown ass person, and karma is the B word. If she doesn't see anything wrong and doesn't seek help, that's on her. In my opinion, she has the financial wherewithal. Yeah, like I want to ask you guys that question. How did Laura actually get her money? Has that ever been established? Anyone? Honestly,
I mean, we know that her
floor is yours.
parents were fairly well known with high profile careers in San Francisco before
Okay.
moving to Arizona. Um, and there
Mhm.
was some testimony in the June 10th hearing about her in conjunction with her mom for the businesses that they have together making like $200,000 a year. There's also this strange screenshot of a money market checking account that
Mhm.
had close to $500,000 in it that she showed Clayton, presumably to sort of prove that she was serious about buying properties.
Right.
Um, but it's very unclear. Now, if you go over to Meg's Crime Watch, Big Tiff Dog and Meg on Meg's Crime Watch did a deep dive into the public financial records that they could obtain related to their family and their real estate dealings. So if people want to deep dive, that's available there.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was pretty illuminating.
Yeah. So they may not actually be as fabulously wealthy. I know in some of these text message exchanges with some of these men, Laura will just say like, I have unlimited funds to pursue legal action.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, who knows how true that is? I don't know.
I don't know why I believe her on this one. I don't know why. I think that she would lie about something that isn't there and won't lie about something that is there. Does that make sense? Does that actually make sense?
Maybe. I mean,
I mean, what I'm
she
trying to say
turns
is
a
that
lot of things around. So
I think she knows that the court is not Mike and Greg and anything like that. So if
mhm.
if she says I'm going to go through with this case, I think that there is actually the resources and means available to actually pull that off. But if she says to Mike and Greg, I'm pregnant,
Right.
so I think she will lie about what she knows. So if she will tell the truth about what she knows that she's got, and she will tell a lie about what she doesn't know that she's got but wants. And I think that she does not want this case. She doesn't want to go to court. So I don't know what if she would have to lie. I don't know. I don't know it, because if she goes on to withdraw, then you kind of defeating, you kind of saying that you're a liar. So
Well,
I actually that's
you
why I
could
think
clearly
she's very
see in
good.
her testimony on June 10th, when they were asking her about this financial statement, you make $200,000 a year. And she said, well, I make that with my mom. So it
Laura,
depends.
I
Some of it's
defended
for
you.
my, she's setting up this thing like, well, my mom gets 90% of it and I get 10% of it, right?
Right.
She's setting up a way out.
Oh God.
And then when she said, oh, do you have this money market with $500,000 in it? She's like, I don't have a money market fund with $500,000 in it. Well, does
Right.
that, maybe she said that because it has 498,000 in it. Like,
Right.
she's playing this game where she's pushing the details her way, right?
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, that's what I'm trying. Like, I don't. No, you're right. You're right about that as well. Like,
She's slippery.
I know.
That's a good way to
That's
put it.
what I hate. I hate that, because that's kind of manipulative because people like that, they know that there's truth to what they're saying, but they know it will send you crazy trying to figure out where. So they give you enough of what's true, but they just omit those information because they know it will send you crazy. And I don't know how they do it. Anyway,
Yeah, she's very, very vague when she speaks. So she'll say, "We had intimacy," but she doesn't get more detailed than that because she doesn't
mm,
want to give her cards away. But then when she's being questioned, she's very, very pedantic about the details. And this is why
fine.
she doesn't like answering yes or no questions.
Right.
So it's a double standard interaction with other people in order to, gain the upper hand or win the poker match or whatever she's doing.
Bruce, what you've just described there is how narcissists usually handle conversations.
Well,
Like that's how that's just, I'm sorry,
I'm
it's
just a
just
layman, so
that word is overblown. I do understand, and but you kind of, if someone can't answer a simple yes or no, that's where that spectrum is kind of for, like, because they equally, people in that kind of personality disorder area, they equally cannot articulate themselves in that way.
yeah.
They,
And,
it has to be their narrative,
yeah, if
no
you're
other
having a
way.
casual conversation, I can understand how yes or no could leave out important context or
Yeah,
details. But
Sure.
when you're in a court case and a
it's
lawyer is
it's
asking you a
actually
yes or no
standard.
question,
Yeah, it's
you
actually
need to
standard.
answer yes or no. And the
Yeah.
opportunity to add in context or correct
Mm.
the assumptions is your lawyer's responsibility.
Right. Right.
It's actually, when you think about it, I don't know because I wasn't there. Was there there was no jury at all. This was family court, so there would be no jury.
Yeah, no jury.
Right. It's
Uh,
just the judge.
brain fart, my bad. But if it was a jury, do you know how interesting it is to have the judge say, "No, you are being non-responsive. Answer the question." Because to me, that's a massive red flag for me. If I see that as a juror, I'm like, there's something wrong with this girl.
Yeah.
I can't etch that out of my head. Like, this is a judge. Everyone knows you respect the judge. You know
There's
what I
two
mean?
sides of the coin. So when
Yeah.
Laura started breaking down and saying, "Oh, I can't go on. I need a break." You could argue that maybe that would garner sympathy with a jury. But what I've heard is that bench judges, they just see through that immediately
Well,
and
they
they
just
don't
see
pay
it
any
so
attention.
often.
They
I
don't
mean,
pay any
it's
attention to that kind of thing. They're just looking for the facts, right?
right.
Mm, mm. This has been lively, and I mean lively. It's been a lively conversation. I just forgot the question I was gonna ask. Damn it! Hate it. I hate it. No, I'm sorry. I hate when that happens. Cancer. She said that she take that. No, I don't have anything else outside of, that's pretty much all we have on Mike Maraccini. Um, there is a lot more to this case, of course. There's a lot more holes we could pick, but for now, I'm going to have to table this talk. I'm going to say thank you so much, Rosalind and Bruce, for joining
Thank
me,
you.
and you, chat, for being so awesome and for being, interactive and speaking with everyone here. I appreciate every single one of you for practices participating. What I was looking for in this stream. Thank you, every single one of you that use the chat. IT Goatee. No, I didn't forget. No, Zach, I didn't forget you. Even though you ignored my good friend right here, Rosaline. Even though you're ignoring her, did not forget you. Joanna, thank you so much. Nom de Plume and Random Girl, thanks for joining. Ida Buddleton as well. Oh, please come back to me while I'm doing this shout out. Because it was really key. The question was
Yeah.
actually really key. Oh, because no,
Oh, we have the judge and no jury.
no, it's not.
Remember that.
It's not pertaining to that. But it's
Wow.
just more of no, never mind. But anyway, never mind. I if I do remember it, I will definitely reference it in the next stream that we do have. Uh oh, surgical abortion and ovary cancer removal in the same day. So that's why you guys were saying she said that she had to get her ovaries removed because it had cancer. Oh,
Well, one
you
of them, I
see.
guess, was the
Only
claim.
one. Only
Oh,
one.
okay. Only one. Okay. By the way, guys, yeah, if you guys actually watch this in sequence, you would actually see that there's so much payoff in this stream because there was so many things that was said in the earlier streams that I'm like, that I'm now realizing it's being expounded on more. Okay.
Right.
Right. So let's let's end with this then. Because I haven't remembered this was not the question I was gonna ask. I don't think I'm gonna remember, but if I do remember, I will ask it in whatever next stream that we do have. But she had, how did the story of her having an abortion and a cancer on the same talk with me, Rosalind, like
How did that
what's the
happen?
story there? Yeah, how? I actually did I miss this? Did you guys already tell it on the stream and I missed it?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
What's the
And
story here then?
I'm not 100% sure on what led to the need to go to the doctor, other than she was pregnant and she was visiting her OB/GYN, and maybe there was some blood work. I don't remember the specifics on why she even had to do the exploratory procedure for the cancer. I'm not sure.
Okay, what about you, Bruce? What do you know about this?
The story's pretty murky because Laura claims that none of this ever happened, and of course we have the laptop forensics that indicate she did send all these documents to Mike that have inconsistencies and problems in these documents. So it's very unclear to me what actually happened here.
My favorite document is from the doctor that it's 100% real cancer.
Yeah, it's hard to prove, but a lot of these documents, they appear to be, there's potential arts and crafts occurring here.
Wait. It actually said on the document you 100% don't have cancer? Or
No, 100% real cancer.
100% real.
No.
Like you're trying to sell like cheese and you're saying it's not
fake
fake
cheese,
that real
I know
cheese.
she photoshopped that. I'm sorry. No one says real in hospital.
Doctors don't say
no
that.
one says real.
Very strange.
I have never. Both my parents were in the medical field. I've never heard them use the word real in my life. I've never heard
real
that
cancer.
before. Never heard that before. 100%. I'm like, no way. Like, oh wow. Okay. Right. I did not know that. She had an abortion and ovary cancer removal on the same day. I already know that's not scientifically possible. I don't know how you could have the energy to even go through that in one day, in one sitting. I mean, I can get how both can coexist at the same time.
Right.
You can get an abortion and you can still have cancer. That's fine. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about energy levels. Like, what person is this? What?
Well, I mean, I think I saw somebody in one of the live streams, somebody with a medical background said that they stopped doing these combo procedures in the 80s or something. 1980s.
Oh my gosh. So she was just literally relying on memory from movies she's watched from the old days.
And maybe
that literally has to be it, because
it's all very suspicious.
No, I have to say that because I actually do remember seeing that on literal old school movies, like how they would actually I'm not sure what movie can I don't know, but there is one movie that I've got in my head that they were trying to save money, so they would like bunch up these procedures like this to like get insurance, but it's not even anything to do with accusations or anything like that. It was just a scene, but I can't remember. I think it included. No, it was Denzel. It was Denzel though. I just can't remember if it was a Spike Lee joint or one of the two. I can't remember, but it wasn't abortion or anything like that. It was just the concept of putting together medical procedures and trying to get them all done out of the way. So I just can't remember which movie I've seen that in. Anyway, enough reminiscing. Laura Owens, I You are, you know what? Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Keep it. Your
It's a lot.
entertainment. Your entertainment go.
Mhm.
Like
Well,
keep coping.
I mean, keep in mind there's many of these men, whether it's, they've been through
Yeah,
this emotional trauma effectively
right.
as victims or financial, huge legal bills, uh, and none of that is very funny. So
No,
to me, that's what I try to keep in mind, and that's why I think the Mike Maraccini case is basically like the cornerstone of this whole saga
sure.
because it's the longest case, and I think it was the most impactful relationship to her
Hmm.
where it didn't work out, and so that shaped everything she did afterwards.
Oh,
So I just view this one as, and I think this is why, if you go back to the June 10th hearing, this is why when all three of them were there to testify, who did she fixate on? Who did her lawyer fixate on? They fixated on Mike.
Mike.
Hmm.
They
Get him
dialed
arrested.
911 when he showed up, and they tried their hardest to get him excluded as a witness.
Hmm.
And I don't think it's because she's the most afraid of him.
No,
I
she
think
just
it's because this was the most psychologically damaging relationship from her perspective to her because she couldn't manipulate him into being with her after this long relationship.
Right. Right.
even with the claims and all that, which only
Right.
happens strangely
Yeah.
after she
And this
met
is all my
someone.
opinion, but that's what it is.
No, I think it's plausible. I think it's
No,
logical
I
as
think
well.
that's accurate. It's
Yeah,
fair.
and I don't disagree with you in regards to you know the seriousness and the gravity of all of this. I know I do have a very flamboyant, boyish, can I say charm persona? I- but I mean, I try to keep the spirits up because it's if I was to really speak what I think of,
Yeah.
you know,
These are
um,
tough topics. Yeah.
no, it's not. No, it's not even a fact of tough topics. I just don't want to lose myself in my little hatred because I'll be very honest. I don't like people like this. I don't like people that go through that does things like this. So if I
Right.
was to actually speak on it, I feel I'm gonna speak in a way that I don't like to see myself speaking like. If that makes sense. So I try to make it as lighthearted as possible. Obviously, I
Oh,
don't want Laura
sure.
to actually, I don't want her to do more of this. I actually want her to actually, I don't even say get help because I don't even think she sees that she needs help. I just want her to go away. I want her to be comfortable with being irrelevant and silent. I want her to be comfortable with being single and away from men for a while because I
Hmm.
think that it might change her perspective on things. I think, yeah, I don't know. But in no way on earth, no way on earth do I actually really do believe that I really do believe that she has, in my opinion, all of this happening. It's a great thing because there will be, depending on what happens with the prosecution, there could be a chance for some form of change within the family court system, or not, like how they handle things like this based on this case. So there could be that hope. But um but overall, the fact that Laura as a person has done all this, and it's now coming out in the most funniest way, that everything that she does, everything that she says, you guys are just there. Like, people are actually there to pick her up and be like, yo, you're lying here. Yo, how are you saying, all of those things? I'm really happy because, yo, I don't know about you. It's entertaining to watch. And I'm saying that from someone that hates being lied to. What I love is seeing someone that has been lying be caught with their pants down, like legit.
No,
No,
for sure.
so I would clown that all day long. I find that extremely entertaining. I find her meltdowns entertaining. I know you're not supposed to find when someone's in distress, in any, but I find it extremely entertaining. I actually do laugh when I see updates of her like saying, "No, this happened like that." I'm like, "Babe, you cannot lie yourself out of scientific impossibilities, let alone anomalies. Like, you can't. You are trying to position yourself as a medical marvel without realizing it, and that's what liars. They just don't have that wherewithal. You know what I'm trying to say? They don't have that. They just think that you lie, and but especially with her, it seems like there's a grandiosity to what she's lying about. Do you know what I mean? It's
Oh,
like
sure.
it's
For
like
sure.
it's interesting as well how you put it into perspective as well, Bruce. When you said that she was trying to get Mike, and she was focused on Mike. When Clayton is clearly the guy that is the one that you should be like, no, I need to get Clayton away from me because he's fucking on the base. He's actually destroying everything I'm working to, like, but
No, yeah, yeah.
the fact that
He blew the top off this.
I mean, yeah, Clayton is the respondent in the case, not
right,
Mike.
yeah, no, but like what I'm trying to say is that you should be trying everything to appease him and trying to keep him out, like trying to get him from stop, doing all this. But end of the day, she's focused on him. And that point that you made about, I think that was her villain arc. That I'm not sure if I said already, the villain origin story, because I think what happened there was, I think she really did like him, maybe prematurely, but she did. And I personally feel, based on everything that I've heard, is because she didn't manipulate is why she's doing it now. She just, and she felt, from what I'm hearing of stories and everything, I think she felt, because she felt like she didn't manipulate when he had a chance to. She's like, I'm gonna do it with now. Like you can see it with Greg Gillespie, with like, if with this with her multiple date proposals, if you date me, I will, like, she's actually in putting the manipulation early. She's being proactive. She's learning from the fact. So, that's just me, but all of this is messed up in such a messed up way. Before we do switch off, I want to ask you, what final words do you guys have, Bruce and Rosalyn? You first, Rosalyn.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Oh, the final words for the stream.
Oh, final words.
Yeah.
Well, I do hope that Mike gets his day in court. I hope that this starts to make a shift along the lines of these cases, these allegations, so that I understand an urgent court. If somebody's really in danger, it's important, but I do think that there needs to be more investigation into the facts of cases. You can't just hand out restraining orders like candy. And I do think that there needs to be some sort of standard for presenting a case for paternity that maybe doesn't exist or hasn't existed. So I would like to see that change.
Thank you so much, by the way, Rosalyn, for saying that, and also thank you so much for putting me on this case. No, I really do.
I told you.
I know. It was, I can't believe, what was that posting about Karen Reed, and then you were like, no, you need to check out this case. I was like, okay, sure. I was like, yeah, sure. I have time. Nothing can shock me. I've seen it all. What the fuck? How many men? No, legit. That was literally the sequence of events. It was literally like that. It was like in 10 15 minutes. I was messaging everyone I knew. I was like, it's like, no way. Anyway, Bruce, your last word. What are your final words in regards to the stream and all that's going on?
I think what I'm learning, or what I'm realizing here, is if you want to understand the Clayton Echard case in context better, the Greg Gillespie case in context better, going into detail on the Mike Maraccini case is actually the way to do it, because I think, like you said, it's kind of an origin story. It has the most details, and whether it's, there's the timeline on justiceforclayton.com, there's the Padlet, which has a dedicated Michael Maraccini timeline in Padlet, and the thing I mentioned on Reddit, which is about a 60-page breakdown of text messages versus actual court filings or the TEDx talk. I think this gives us the best insight into the history of these cases that we've seen yet. And I think the theme here is what you were alluding to earlier, which is basically trust is difficult to earn, but easy to lose. And this is why I think they tell kids when they're little kids the story of the boy who cried wolf, right?
Right.
Just for that fact. So I think to me that's kind of the theme that comes out of this case at this point.
Auntie M said, "Good point, Bruce," and I agree. She didn't say that to this point you just made. That's too quick. But I thought I used that because that was a masterful point that you just made there. That's a very good point. Because it's not like as if we are not told from young, hey, maybe not, don't tell porkies, it's dangerous. Maybe no, we were all told, and there's a choice that we make later on in life. And she's made hers, and that's why we're here today, to show you shouldn't make these choices, guys. Don't actually fake sonograms. Don't actually make accusations up, guys. Not saying you guys would do that. You guys are nice people. I mean, Rosalyn, Bruce, and the chat. Maybe not Zach, because
Maybe not Zach.
We appreciate Zach's hand.
But I'm sure you guys are nice people that would never do anything of this sort. Okay, last question, and then we're gonna close up on this. So Nom de Plume says a CA125 blood test will identify ovarian cancer. Was it done as a routine test? Anyone can answer this one.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think we do know that we don't have any medical documents sent directly from a provider to Greg Woodnick related to that.
Yes, that would be
and
true.
if that doesn't happen, I don't believe it.
Exactly.
That's where I'm at.
Fair enough. Well, I tried, Nom. I tried. Well, that's all that's all the time. That's all the time that we have to. That's all the time we have. Thank you so much, Rosalyn and Bruce from Oregon. Once again, we're gonna close out there. Guys, have a great day. Have a great Sunday wherever you are at. I'm going to watch Deadpool. Hopefully, it's a great movie. No one spoiled it. I made it, guys. I can finally.
That's this new one with the Wolverine or whatever.
Yeah, Deadpool Wolverine. I can't wait.
Right
I hope that you guys are watching that wherever you guys are, and I hope watching whatever you
want.
And
the Olympics are on too. Don't forget.
I actually don't hate the Olympics. I just
not for everybody, but it's going on right now.
No, it's just I just can't buzz myself for what event to watch. I don't know why I've lost. I used to watch the Olympics every time. I don't know why I've lost so much buzz. For this, to be honest, I've lost the buzz since after London, so I haven't really kept up. It's just the World Cup, so
you gotta be in the mood for it.
Yeah, no, but if the Olympics is on, if that's what you fancy, enjoy yourself. But yeah, thank you guys. Have a great evening. Take care of yourselves, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.